It's Sunday, which means it's time for a roast. And here in Britain, we love our roasts, don't we? Beef, pork, lamb, chicken, you name it. We'll shove it in an oven with some potatoes and call it a day. But did you know that the Sunday roast has been a British tradition since the 18th century? Yes, that's right. It's been going strong for over 300 years. In fact, the Victorians were so obsessed with their roasts that they invented a special dish just for the occasion, the Yorkshire pudding. And what would a roast be without gravy? It's the sauce that makes everything better. And it's made from the juices that run off the meat while it's roasting. It takes hours to make the perfect gravy, but it's worth it because it's so delicious. Now, if you're from the UK, you probably have fond memories of Sunday lunch. Maybe it was the one day your family would get together and eat something other than shepherdess pie. Or maybe it was the only time you got to watch TV in the dining room while everyone else ate. Whatever your memories are, I bet they involve a lot of laughter, conversation, and good food. But why is the Sunday roast so important? Well, it goes back to the Middle Ages when the main meal of the day was eaten at lunchtime, followed by a lighter supper in the evening. This gave people something to look forward to on Sunday. A big feast after a long week of fasting, and let's face it, who doesn't love a good feast? The tradition really took off in the 18th century when roast beef became a status symbol. The richer you were, the bigger your roast could be, and of course, the bigger the roast, the more gravy you could make. By the Victorian era, the Sunday roast was a staple of British culture. Families would gather around the table, dressed in their finest clothes, and enjoy a meal that might include up to 9 courses. That's right. 9 courses. No wonder they needed to invent a new dish to soak up all the gravy. But why did they choose Yorkshire pudding? Well, it's a batter made with eggs and milk that's cooked in hot fat. This creates a light and airy pudding that's perfect for soaking up gravy. And let's face it, who doesn't love a good Yorkshire pudding? They're crispy on the outside, soft inside, and they go with everything. Of course, the Sunday roast isn't complete without the condiments. Horseradish sauce is a must for many people, as well as stuffing, cranberry sauce, and for the veggies among us, there's always mint sauce. And don't forget the drinks. A nice glass of red wine or a pint of bitter is the perfect way to wash it all down. So next time you sit down to a Sunday roast, take a moment to appreciate the history behind this traditional meal. And don't forget to save room for dessert. Apple crumble and custard is always a hit, so is sticky toffee pudding with ice cream. And if you're feeling really adventurous, you could try spotted dick. That's right, a steamed pudding made with soup, flour, spices, and dried fruit. It might not look like much, but trust me, it's delicious. Now it's time for me to go and make my mom's famous roast dinner. She makes the best Yorkshire puddings in the world. I swear it. But don't worry, I've got it all under control. I am gonna not carve the beef and pour the gravy and make sure everyone has a proper Sunday roast. After all, it wouldn't be the same without it, would it? That's it for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this quick trip through the history of the Sunday roast. Now excuse me while I go and dig into a plate of leftovers. You know what they say, second helpings are for winners. They say that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Well, in my family, it was the Sunday roast that kept my dad's heart filled with love. In our working class family, even if money was tight, Sunday roast was a priority. A time when everyone sat together, shared stories, and felt united. We didn't have much, but we had each other and we had food, and that's all that mattered. Sunday lunch was always served with a little bit of theater. First, the star of the show would make its grand entrance, be it beef, lamb, or chicken. Then came the supporting cast, the perfectly timed jug of gravy, the fluffy Yorkshire puddings, and the medley of vegetables. Each dish had its own fanfare. It wasn't just about the food. It was about the connection, the comfort, and the tradition. It was a time for sharing stories, laughter, and love. It was a time for the family to come together and feel grateful for the blessings of life. My mom would lay the table with a white cloth, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. For her, it was an important part of the ritual. She rearranged the cutlery with military precision and placed a single flower in the center of the table, a splash of color against the white linen. The rest of us would gather round the table, each bringing our own stories and laughter. There was my elder sister, always the chatterbox, keeping us entertained with tales from her latest adventure. Then there was my younger brother, quiet and thoughtful, adding his own insights to the conversation. And then there was me, the youngest, soaking up the love and laughter, feeling grateful to be a part of this family. As the meal came to an end, we'd all clear the table together, each of us pitching in to help. It wasn't just a chore, It was a bonding experience, a chance to work together and create a shared memory. We might have been young, but we understood the importance of family and the value of hard work. Those Sunday roasts were a microcosm of life, a small, imperfect world where love and laughter triumphed over adversity. But it wasn't just our family. In many middle-class homes, Sunday lunch was an affair to look forward to. Children would plan their day around it, ensuring they were home in time to share the feast. Families would don their finest clothes, not out of necessity, but out of respect for the tradition. They polished their silverware, lay their finest tablecloths, and light their best candles, turning their dining rooms into spaces fit for royalty. For some families, it was a time to break bread with friends, inviting neighbors or fellow churchgoers to join their celebration. In these homes, the kitchen would become a hive of activity, with several helping hands preparing the feast. The air would be filled with the aroma of roasting meat, fresh vegetables, and the rich, comforting scent of gravy. As the meal came together, anticipation would build, each family member eager to play their part in serving up the perfect Sunday lunch. Over the years, Sunday roasts have evolved. Supermarkets now offer ready-made gravies and rotisserie chickens, making meal prep a breeze. Yet despite these modern conveniences, the heart of Sunday roast remains unchanged. It's a time for families to gather, to share stories, and to connect. Perhaps you have fond memories of your own Sunday roast. Maybe you can still smell the gravy or hear the laughter, or maybe you're creating new traditions with your own family. Whatever your story, know that you're part of a rich British custom that has stood the test of time. So here's to Sunday roasts, to the families who make them, and to the love that brings us together.